everybody, this is the final tutorial for the Bits and Bobs blanket, and this is a demonstration of how we work the I-cord border. So I've got just this little demonstration piece here. Now the first thing we need to do is just to do a little provisional cast on. Don't panic about this, it's really simple, and I use the crochet chain method for this. So all we need to do is provisionally cast on 3 stitches. So we just make a slip knot, and then we're just going to chain a few stitches. You want more than the 3, so, and I do this quite, fairly loosely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably do 7. And then we cut that yarn. You can use a different colour for this if you want, a different contrast yarn. I just use the same yarn that I'm working with. I don't find it to be a bother. So that's all we need the crochet hook for. It's really easy. So now we need to pick up 3 stitches from this chain, and what I do is I flip it over, and if you work from the sort of cast off end, if you like, so flip it over, you'll see along the back it looks like a little chain running along there, and we're going to pick up in these what kind of look like pearl bumps here. So that's going to be our first one. So we take our working border yarn, again held double, everything is always held double, and we're going to pick up and knit that stitch. So that's 1, and then we're just going to pick up 2 more like that. 2, and then the 3rd one. So that's our 3 stitches provisionally cast on effectively, and they're being held on our little bit of chained waste yarn. So now to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to push these stitches to the other end of your DPN, because we're working an I-cord, and that's how we work an I-cord. We're going to knit the first 2 stitches. Your first stitch will be loose because that's where we picked up, don't worry, that will tighten up. So knit 2. We're going to slip that next one knitwise, and then we're going to yarn over. Okay, so we've effectively got 4 stitches on the needle there because the yarn over is counting as a stitch. So now we're going to start attaching it to our blanket. Now we're going to start attaching it in the bottom left hand corner where you've got your cast on yarn here, just a few stitches in. So I find it easier to turn it upside down effectively. And we're going to pick up from this cast on edge here. So if you sort of pull it apart a little bit, you can see what looks like little chains running all the way along. So we're going to go into, you've got, it's sort of like a V-stitch on there. Everything's doubled obviously, so 1, 2 strands here, 2 strands here. So we're going to pick up there. So we pick up and knit that 1 stitch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pass over both the yarn over and the slip stitch. So get your DPN into both of those stitches and pass them over. So that leaves us with 3 stitches again. So now we push it to the other end of the needle and repeat. So we're going to knit, give your yarn a little tug on the back as you would do when you were knitting an I-cord normally. Knit those 2 stitches. We're going to slip the next one knitwise, yarn over, pick up the next stitch as we did before, and again we're going to pass over both the yarn over and the slip stitch. Push it back to the other end, and we're just going to repeat that all the way along. So knit 2, slip knitwise, yarn over, pick up the next one, and then pass the yarn over and the slip stitch, over the stitch. Push it to the other end. So that's, and you can see it's starting to attach here. So we carry on working exactly like that till we get to the corner, and then you just do something very slightly different at the corner just to turn it. Okay, so we've worked all the way along one side and we're now at the corner. So what we've got to do to turn the corner is to work a couple of rows just of I-cord without actually picking up any stitches, and that gives you that little bit of fabric that you need just to turn the corner. So to do that, all we're going to do is we're going to knit 2 stitches, slip 1, yarn over, and then pass the slip stitch over the yarn over. Push it to the other end, so that's 1 row. And we just do that again. So knit 2, slip, yarn over, slip stitch over the yarn over, push to the other end. And that's given us, if you can see, we've got a little bit of fabric there, and that's going to allow us to turn that corner. So now I'll just work 1 more stitch and you can see. So now we just carry on like normal. So we knit 2, we slip 1, yarn over, and now we're working along the edge to pick up stitches. So we're going to work our first stitch in there, and when we're working along this side edge, the long edges, as it says in the pattern, we're just going to pick up 2 strands, not 4. So effectively that's like 1 stitch rather than 2 that you're going through. And then we do the same thing, just pass the yarn over and slip stitch over, push to the end, and then just carry on as it instructs you to do in the pattern. So there we go, that's how we work the I-cord border.